Alright, welcome to the video, guys. We're going to be on Fjords in the T21. This is one final game that I'm showing you in the T21. I just recorded a 3-mark game, and I'm basically done with this tank. We're going to move on. But I wanted to show you this game on Fjords because it was a little bit interesting, right? We kind of were holding down the north, but we lost the south, and I wanted to show you a couple positions that I take when the south is gone. I mean, there's a few of them you can take. You can try sitting back in this bush line here. You can play around with this building because this is hard cover and you can kind of poke both ways, right? And you can try and sit back here. The problem is if you get spotted back here, it kind of sucks. Like this position, in my opinion, is better if people are like funneling in down here and you can kind of poke out, right? Or if they've won this portion of the map, you can kind of poke out and get shots, or you can stay behind the bush and have someone else spot and poke as they push in here, right? When it sucks is when you lose the city, right? Because you can sit back here, but like the shots are not as clear as you would think they are. Like people really have to come all the way around and be running straight towards you because there's the way the buildings kind of block it. Do you guys see this? Like if you sit back here, you see how like the way the buildings are, like you literally have to wait for someone to come like all the way around this corner, or you got to put yourself like right here maybe, and you'll have a shot kind of going like into this pocket, but it's tricky, man. You know, like if you can kind of see how that's working. So I'm not a big proponent of taking this position. I think it's good for tank destroyers, but I usually rather would go over to this bush or something like that. And you can sit up here. I used this one. I chose to use this one here, and also this building, right? Because you can poke out. There was like an ARL sitting right here, still trying to get shots, and then you can poke this too around the corner, and you're kind of spotting for people in the back as well if they decide to sit in these back locations. So there's a couple areas, and then another one you can even take is this one. I think this one is kind of underrated. If you have gun depression and you lose this portion of the map, or like just this portion, not necessarily the city you're trying to defend the north, you can just poke up like this and basically stay hold down, you know, and hit people from up north that are pushing north to south, right? So that's what I wanted to kind of outline in this video. I'll show you how this one pans out, and just to give you some information. I mean, you can see the map. We're down some tanks, we're down some HP. We kind of still have the east and sort of the north, but we've lost the entire south and like western portion of this map. So we're going to show you my camera view. We're taking shots at the ARL-44, and you can just see like all these heavies pushing in, right? And you can see how I can poke both sides of this building to get the proper angles on these corridors in the city, right? So I poke out here. I'm taking a shot at this T-29. It actually bounces. I don't know what happened to this guy. It looks like he like disconnected or something, so I was kind of lucky. Because he looked like a good player in the T-29, but we're able to clean him up. I mean, these things happen, man. A lot of times when I see like very high damage replays, there's always someone that's AFK on the enemy team, right? Like you see these big time replays on YouTube. Like a lot of times someone is farming an AFK tank, so like it is what it is, man. People are going to disconnect, or they have there's an emergency that happens and they leave their computer. Like you never know, man. You know, I'm usually quick to, or I should say not quick to report someone if they're if they all of a sudden are AFK in the middle of the game. If they're AFK the whole game, then I'm like, all right, man, like probably should report this guy for inaction, but I don't even think wargaming really does anything anyway unless they get a lot of them, right? But yeah, I mean, if someone has played a portion of the game and then they're AFK, like use your head, guys. You know what I mean? Like you never know, man. Like perhaps they have a wife that just is pregnant and her water broke. You know, that they have to rush to the hospital, or their kid fell down the stairs, or like, you know what I mean, man? Like you never know. They could have disconnected, sure, but you never know, man. You never know like what can happen. So I would urge you guys not to just report a random person if all of a sudden they're AFK. If they're AFK from the start, that's kind of a different story, I think, right? But just throwing that out there, guys. You know, I'm just giving you that information because I feel like people are very, very quick to report anyone who's AFK. Doesn't mean they're a bot because they had to leave halfway through their game. And if you abandon the game, right, that's another, like, if you have to exit the game anyway, then you're already, like, Wargaming already notes that, right? Because it says you're abandoning the game, right? Like you don't want to do that, right? Anyway, so a lot of people are just going to like, I guess, just leave the game, right, as it is, and they'll go and do what they need to do. But I think even if you do exit the game, your tank just sits there AFK. Still, it's not like it gets removed from the game, as I'm aware. So I guess it really doesn't matter either way, but yeah, I'm just throwing this out there, guys, because you never know, man. You know, like don't be quick to report people for that. But if they're camping the base and they've never left the base, yeah, it's time. So we get a good shot in the ARL here, and this shows you how this angle works as well, because I did decide to back up and use this angle as well, right? And then we're hitting the Scorpion. I'm going to try and hit him through this building. The shot was a little low, is what it is. And we've kind of brought this game back, right? So I'm showing you guys how these angles can work for you. Again, we had a decent team here too that was able to. It wasn't like I was the only one that was doing this, because this was a tier 8 game. Like, we were kind of getting some kills out of it. We got 3 kills, but the rest of the team chipped in as well. But I'm just kind of showing you guys these areas you can retreat back to, because I recently did a video on Fjords from the northwest spawn, and I showed you guys how that like B1 rock is OP as all heck. So I wanted to show you how you can do the same on this side of the map as well. And I would say that I think it's much easier from the northwest spawn to prevent a push because of that area near the B1 rock. But it's not impossible from the southeast either. Like, this is definitely a map where I would encourage you guys to fall back if you're not certain like what's going to happen. A lot of times I've seen teams leave the entire eastern side of this map wide open as well. And so you just have to like look at the map, man. I'm one of those players that tends to look at the map, but sometimes I will forget, and all of a sudden I'm 3 minutes into the game and I realize I'm alone on a flank or something, trying to spot for nobody, right? Like, you really want to be aware of everything that's going on. So I'm going to pull down, take this shot at the Scorpion as I'm doing so, because he started aiming at me, and take one more at him. This is kind of risky. Probably shouldn't do this, but again, this is why I use XVM, guys. He's a red player, so he probably doesn't even have like 100% screw, even 100% crew, even on his Scorpion. Who knows, man? You know. And people feel the way they want to feel about this. Like, I can see that he's just not a great player, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to take the risk at this point and try and put a blind shot into this guy as this game is coming to a close. But I have to be careful, right? Because it's literally just me, the IKV, and the Samua, and or the Su-130 rather, and I'm pretty sure that the Su-130 actually falls to the Scorpion here, and it's just me and the IKV that end up pushing in. So it gets very close at the end again, right? We brought it back, and then it's like close again, and this Scorpion, you know, red player, man. But this is why I'm telling you guys, like, you cannot use XVM all the time to judge how good players. Like, there are some good players, especially their recent. Like, it's not showing his recent WN8, right? This is showing his overall WN8. So who knows? I mean, you could have a recent WN8 of like 1500 or 2000 or something. And this is why I tell you guys, man, like, this is why I make that WN8 video, to show you guys, like, WN8 is just a very weird statistic, and I make the joke saying that it's overrated, and people were like attacking me on that overrated thing, but that's exactly what the definition of overrated is. It means like it's looked at too much and people care about it too much. So you have people that will sit in the back of a map and pad it. They'll get kills and damage, and they'll pad their WN8 even though their win rate might not be that high. You'll have people that will do that, and then you'll have people that will actually play the game properly in my eyes and still have a good WN8, and sometimes you can't even tell the difference between those players. You can't tell the difference between a really good player who actually takes positions on the map and isn't farming WN8. They're just playing well. And you can't tell the difference between someone like that and someone who just camps the back of the map waiting for their team to die so they can get more damage and more kills, right? So this is why I tell you guys, man, like, I run XVM to give myself somewhat of an idea, but I'm not one of those players that's like obsessed with this statistic, man. I do keep my WN8 thing over here underneath my mark of excellence because it's the only thing that you can get from as lanes. You can't Like, if they had WTR, I would use WTR, but I do like to see what it is every game, because I do care about it, right? I'm not going to say I don't care about it. Like, I do care about stats. And I actually dislike when people say, like, all you care about is stats, because in a way I do, but it's like, people have to understand what your goals are when you're playing this game. Like, are your goals to sit in the back of the map and farm damage and brag about your stats? Because that's not my goal. My goal is to 3-mark my light tanks and help you guys in the process of doing that, right? So share with you guys videos from all tiers, right, on how to be a better light tank player. That's my ultimate goal when playing this game. Some people's ultimate goal is to enjoy themselves and have fun, and they like playing like the Hetzer at tier 4. Like, play it, man. You know, I feel like people get like extremely critical, man. Extremely critical over the tiers you play and all that. And if you care about stats or you don't care about stats, like, I mean, I should just stop talking about these things, because I truly believe that it just opens people up to being very critical about your channel or like the way you play your tanks and stuff, man. So ultimately, all I'm telling you guys is you can't look at WN8 alone. Like, the statistic is fine, but it's just very easy for people to farm, and that was the whole point of my overrated video, because it literally overrates players if they're going to use it in the wrong way, right? They're going to take advantage of the way Win8 is calculated. So 5 kills, guys. Again, for WN8, this was a great game, but this is tier 6, right? Keep that in mind. 1389 damage, 364 assists, and we'll get into the end plates. Nothing special. We didn't do a lot of spotting, right? But we did have a lot of kills, and we had good teammates to help us out here. And look, there's Scorpion, man. 6 kills. And you hear me over here saying, oh, this guy's a red player by XVM. I'm being one of those, like, somewhat judgmental people. And look at this. This dude almost carried the game for his team. So, just giving you guys this information, man. You know, take it how you will. But I'm giving you this information. Bounty Turbo, guys. Run it on the T21 if you play the T21. Trust me. Drop like vents or whatever else you're going to put on this thing and run the Bounty Turbo, or just Turbo. This thing needs help with mobility. It's too slow, trust me. That's it. I'll show you this one just to show you the detailed report real quick, and then I'll show you this. This is the main one. First class game, and it was close to like 2,000 combined, I guess, and I think we played it well, but I wanted to share this video with you guys so you can see how to defend. And it was also a very close game, so I think it's fun for you to watch. But it shows you the other spawn, right? Because a lot of times I'll do one spawn, and then someone will ask me, like, oh, please do the other spawn. And I'm like, I would if I get the map again, because I don't have, like, a sheriff's account. I can't just pick the map, right? If I get the map again, then I'd be happy to. And it's a good game. I'd be happy to share it. So that's all. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you for the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.